ladies and mostly gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about dungeon leveling, and more specifically dungeon leveling in Chromie Time. But before we get into all of that, guys, I just want to thank the sponsor of this video, and that is my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to check me out streaming the Shadowlands beta and pre-patch every single day, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM. Firstly, I want to apologize for the hideous echo in this room. We've just moved house and there's no soundproofing or anything, so apologies for the echo. Hopefully it's not too bad. So, dungeon leveling. You guys asked so much in the comments of my last video about dungeon leveling, so I took it upon myself on stream to gather a group of people and test it out and see how efficient it was versus like the regular sort of leveling. Now, since that last video, Warlords of Draenor questing has been nerfed significantly, so I'm not too sure honestly what is the fastest expansion at this point. I think it is still Warlords of Draenor, but I think it will just take a little bit longer than it did previously. So, dungeon leveling. So the interesting thing with dungeon leveling and Chromie Time is the way that it interacts. Now, with Chromie Time, it's kind of annoying that once you pick your expansion, you are locked into the dungeons of that expansion. So if you pick Wrath of the Lich King, you're going to be locked into Wrath of the Lich King dungeons. There is actually a little bit of a failsafe on this with long queues. After 15 minutes, a little pop-up will come up and say, like, do you want to choose different expansions? So that's kind of cool. 15 minutes is quite a long time, though. I think it should be a bit shorter than that, or even just, just let us queue for every single dungeon, please. That'd be nice. Anyway, with dungeon leveling, obviously you don't leave the city, so it's not really the end of the world being locked into certain dungeons, because you can queue for a Cataclysm dungeon, and if the queue's taking too long, you can jump and change into Wrath or whatever, because you can swap around your expansion as much as you like when you're standing next to Chromie. So the way that we tested it first was a bunch of level 10s. I got a bunch of level 10s together, and we were leveling through dungeons, and in my head I thought, Burning Crusade. Burning Crusade will probably be one of the fastest, nice short dungeons with a lot of quests. Now, the quests are obviously very important because they're going to be a huge chunk of XP. The biggest chunk of XP is ending the dungeon, so you can't just queue into specific stockades if you want to just keep running stockades, because the massive amount of XP comes from the end of the dungeon, which is generated through the random dungeon finder. So you have to use the random feature to do that. So yeah, that's kind of how that worked. That's what we were doing. We were doing Burning Crusade dungeons for a long time. Then what happened was someone dropped out. And someone dropped out, so we threw in a level 50. Now, level 50s can queue with you, and what happens is once you get into the dungeon, they go down to the level cap of that expansion. In Burning Crusade, I think the level cap is like 30 or something like that, so they were put down to 30, lost a lot of their toolkit, and it was kind of a bit annoying for them. So what we did after that was turn on Party Sync. Now, once we've turned on Party Sync, for some reason, when you party sync with a level 50 while you're in Chromie Time, they go up to level 50 and they are in Chromie Time. So what happened is, we had this level 50 who was killing stuff pretty easily, and obviously a bunch of level 10s or whatever it was, I think it was 15s at the time. Then I thought, okay, this is not the optimal way to do it. So what we did was, I was level 10, and I got 4 level 50s with me, and we grouped together, party sank, so they're all level 50, I'm level 10 still. Went into Wrath of the Lich King dungeons, went into Burning Crusade dungeons, went into classic dungeons, all the kind of quick dungeons with lots of quests, and it was very, very efficient. We were leveling very fast. The 50s were able to kill stuff very quickly. They were level 50 and the NPCs were level 50, but they were very good geared. They were geared in, Nylothar gear and stuff like that, so they were able to kill it relatively easy, and we were blasting through these dungeons so quickly. So this seemed to be the optimal route. And we did get to 50, and it took 7 hours, 13 minutes, which isn't too bad. We did, I think that's a pretty good run, considering. So yeah, that was kind of our optimal route. Now that's 7 hours, 13 minutes inside dungeons. We had to kind of swap and change the group quite a lot, so it did take a little bit longer. But if you have a dedicated group, then you can just kind of smash through that. And honestly, we probably weren't as efficient as we could have been. You could really min-max this in regards to queuing into certain expansions that are a lot faster. I did Wrath and Classic because I felt like those were the fastest, but they might not be. Cataclysm could be fast, Warlords of Draenor, etc., right? So we didn't really min-max this at all. We did 7 hours, 13 minutes. Not too bad at all. So the answer to the question is dungeon leveling efficient? Now, it is. It's pretty good. Now, you know what Blizzard are like. They could go and nerf this tomorrow, but I think you could get a really decent time if you got a really good group together and smash through the optimal expansions. And to be honest, it was kind of fun. It was fun to go back on those dungeons and see all the old bosses and get the loot. And what's interesting as well with the level 50s is they were getting level 50 variants of the loot. It wasn't very good item level. I think it was like 87 or something like that. But it's still cool to see, you know, some of the Wrath loot dropping for level 50, which is the equivalent to 120. So it's a very, very jarring thing, but that's how it worked. Now, just to add to the Chromie Time thing, and this is something that people are talking about quite a lot over on Wowhead and Twitter and whatnot, and there's quite a lot of outrage about it, and that is the automatic kick out of Chromie Time. Now, this has actually been in the game for a little bit, and we saw it first in the Mr. Pandaria leveling that we did on the beta, and it did actually kick us out of 48 to go and do Shadowlands content, which was, yeah, pretty annoying at the time. I was questing in Pandaria, and it said, right, you're done. And it kicked me out, sent me to Ogrima, and that was kind of annoying. And I do agree that is very, very annoying. Now, one thing I have seen is that people are saying that it kicks you out mid-dungeon. Now, this didn't happen to me. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it didn't happen to me. I leveled to 50, and then I just kind of did a little bit of the dungeon. Then I was like, okay, I'm done. And I left the group, and then it kicked me out. Once I left the group, entered the world again, then it forcefully kicked me out of Chromie Time, which is annoying because I know a lot of people do want to continue on doing Chromie Time until they've completed the expansion. Now, the only way you can actually do Chromie Time at level 50 is to group with another player in Chromie Time and then party sync, which is not optimal and not something that's, you know, really intended to happen. So honestly, it would be better if Blizzard just gave us the choice to finish up Chromie Time, but I can see that there's, like, you know, some issues, right? So, like, imagine if you just stayed in Chromie Time forever, you know, you've got, like, a whole level 50 world, and actually, Chromie Time is a completely different phase from everybody else as well. So it'll be a lot of people kind of phased out of the game. But yeah, I don't know the solution to that. It's really annoying, I know that much, because, you know, it is... Yeah, you don't really want to be forced to finish something once you hit max level. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. Dungeon leveling, not too bad in Chromie Time. And yeah, so if that's your kind of thing that you like doing, if you're not into questing, if you literally just like standing in Ogrima, standing in Stormwind, and queuing, that is going to be something that is doable and something that is possible and not something that's going to slow you down too much as long as the queues are decent. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this is something you're going to try when the pre-patch drops on October 13th, because that is when Chromie Time and everything else comes in, and that's very, very soon. So yeah, just let me know down below if you have like an optimal route in your head. I wonder if it'll work. I wonder if that will be the optimal route for dungeon leveling. So yeah, before I go, guys, I'd like to give a massive shout out to our amazing patrons, YouTube channel members, and Twitch subs. You guys are awesome, and if you'd like to support the channel in any of those ways, links are down below. So leave a like on this video, guys, if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't. I've also got a partner Discord channel with over 3,000 members, and as I said, I am now streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. That is where the majority of this testing happened. So if you want to see these kind of like behind the scenes of the video making happening, it's over on twitch.tv/MrGM. We're there pretty much every day. So we're doing Shadowlands content, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.